From the internet, it's the BTB Internet Talk Show. Special guests, Pandemonium, Dean Martin. If you've got the internet, you get a talk show. Here's your host, Mr. BTB himself, Scott Curtis.
Hello. It's the BTB Internet Talk Show. Is this thing on? Like, hello, am I coming through? BTB Internet Talk Show is going to be on my Twitch channel tonight. It's going to be on Behind the Bits, all one word, and it's going to stay up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the stuff. So if you want to stick around and watch tonight, I'm giving you a freebie. You don't have to go to Twitch. However, I would like to talk about my podcast just for a moment because I always forget to do that. This is not a podcast. This is a talk show. If it was a podcast, you could go to an app and download it and listen to it. It ain't that, okay? This is here and now. This is live. It's not a podcast. You can call it a podcast if you want. I don't care. Anywho, the Behind the Bits podcast comes out every Tuesday, and I interview comedians, and we talk serious about stand-up comedy. It's nothing like this. This is just a shit show, and my podcast is really serious about stand-up comedy. And I won an award, the 2020 Discover Pods Awards for Best Interview Style Podcast. As you can see, the runner-up was Armchair Expert Dax Shepard, and I also beat out Conan O'Brien and Mark Maron, only because none of them cared about the award, and I did, and had people vote for me. So that's about enough of that. Let's get back into the window I want to be in. The reason why we are doing this on all the outlets right now is because over on the Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling channel, let's put that up for you real quick. They are doing a 24-hour fundraiser for Alpha Omega Martial Arts in Wahoo, Nebraska. And basically it's a nonprofit organization, and they need some money to give kids, first of all, their nunchucks and all the equipment that they need, but also to give scholarships to kids because they don't want to turn any kid away that wants to stay off the streets and do good stuff. So go over to the Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling channel anytime tonight, all the way through till 5 o'clock tomorrow p.m. So 5 p.m. tomorrow Eastern is when it ends. I'm going to be doing a special edition of the BTB Internet Talk Show from 9 to 11 a.m. over on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. And I've got all kinds of people. I've got former podcast guests. I've got Mr. Showtime, David Scott. I've got a bunch of people from over across the pond in England. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people dropping in. Dean Martin is just going to go nuts. I think my friend Eugene from Smyrna, the conspiracy provist, might show up. And maybe Richard K. Weed, the best comic in the world, may show up. But you'll have to tune in to see. And if you can donate, please donate to him because that's important. I do want to talk about a podcast that I found now. It's called The Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. These guys are nuts. So they are, let me find my right notes. That's not the right note. And here we are. I made it little. It's Matt, Greg, and Brendan, and they talk about all things pop culture, and they have great clients. Their clients are actually their guests, which isn't right because the client is actually a short description of their guests, so you're going to have to just go take a look to find out. And they are really good at interviewing. I feel like everybody that is done with an interview there ask what the hell happened to them when they're done. They're really different because they're kind of grumpy and kind of mean, actually. So it's kind of fun to watch. Head over to qsblaw.org to find out everywhere they are on social media. They got a YouTube channel. You can listen to the podcast right there, or you can go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you use, and give them a check out. Okay, one more thing before I bring people up. I'm not in any big hurry tonight because I'm not on a time commitment. As you know, I drink, and I am drinking this time Jesse Truman Straight Bourbon Whiskey that was casked in 2003. And let me tell you, it's good stuff. But you can only get it from Three Rivers Distilling Company or the Chalet Party Shop in Elkhart and Goshen, or Belmont Beverage in South Bend and Mishawaka. So that's the only place they do it especially and only for them. And let me tell you, folks, if they were to give me a bottle every month for me to put that bottle up and talk about it, I'd take it. As you know, I'm looking for sponsors, and I'll take trade. Booze is just as good as money for me because you pay money for booze, don't you? Yeah. I'm having a lot of fun. I started drinking early tonight, so I'm feeling it. And so that's all I got for announcements, except for I want to talk about the guys from a live show app. I don't want to talk about it a whole bunch, but download a live show app either on your Android or Apple device and check it out, because you can actually do live shows from the comfort of your living room and not have to worry about Zoom and not worry about sound and stuff like that. It's really cool. So let's bring the people out. They've been waiting. I'm going to bring everybody out at the same time because I know none of you. So I have to say that setting this up was interesting because Dave and I were both on a comedy contest. I don't know. Did you move on, Dave, to the next round?
I did not. I don't think you did either, correct?
Yeah, no, yeah, fuck them, because we were both the funniest of the two that did it, but I forgot to ask people to vote for me. So I just drank instead.
When you've been doing comedy as long as I have, you look at contests for what they are.
Yeah.
Who won?
It's hard to disregard the politics, but I look at them as performance opportunities, network opportunities. To me, it led me to be able to be here tonight.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I got to meet you. So that made my day. A young lady by the name of Jessica Miranda won, and she was in our heat, and she was funny as hell. She was very, very good. And as far as I know from the people I saw, I think she deserved it. She did great sets. I didn't get to see some of her longer sets, but she did excellent stuff. But the big thing is I got to meet Dave, and I thought Dave, apparently you've been doing it for a while. I didn't know that. And you are really, really funny. You've got a meter about you. The way you talk is it's got like a poetry musicality to it, and it just really brought me in, and I thought you were funny as hell.
Thank you. I'm like a walking haiku, but thank you for the
and so when I asked you to come on, I said, why don't you invite a couple of your friends? And so you said one of them's a comedian and one of them's not. And then you sent me their pictures and you didn't tell me which one wasn't. So I did a little bit of Facebook stalking. If I was to guess from Leaf's picture, he was going to be the comedian because he looks nuts. But it turns out Rob's actually the comedian and is actually really funny, and I think he has a podcast too. So let's get to know each other. I mean, come on. Dave's cool, but what are you guys all about? Let's ask Rob first. Rob, how long have you been doing comedy?
Am I coming in okay? Because I know we just have no problems.
You're great.
Okay,
You're great.
Cool. I have been doing comedy for 8-9 years. And started in Virginia, and I'm in New York City now. Where are you guys?
Scott is here. I'm referring to myself in the third person. Is in northern Indiana. I'm closest to Chicago.
Oh, nice. Okay. How's it out there now?
Well, it's we're still a red state. So
does that affect the weather at all?
Masks are optional even when they're required. I mean, it's just a fucking bunch of horse shit is what it is. But yeah, it's just I'm hopefully leaving soon. So that's the light at the end of the tunnel, but it is what it is. It's I am, as far as a comedian is concerned, I'm a bit of an amateur. I started when I was 52 and I'm going to be 57 here in about a month. So I really started getting serious about it and traveling right before the pandemic, and then that happened. So that's pretty much me. I've been married for 31 years, and no, it's more than that. It's 33 coming up. Yeah, 33 years. I've been with my boo since I was 18 and she was 17. And I have 2 children. I have a grandchild named Jackson, who is 2, and I have another grandchild going to be born in May 11th, if the due date's right. And I'm 6'5". Last weight was 245 pounds, but I'm working on that, trying to get back down to 220.
Nice. Good luck.
That's really about, I like horror movies, and I don't watch sports. So, that's me.
You forgot favorite pizza topping.
Oh, yes. Also, I don't eat meat, so it's pretty much just the sauce. I don't do cheese very much either, so it's pretty much just the dough and the sauce. I do a lot of meal shake replacement shit because I'm trying to lose some weight.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, we were. I think Rob asked me about me. What about you? You look like you got a podcast set up there.
So I'm actually at a friend's house. He has a show that he does. So I was just using his equipment after he left, which I don't think the microphones are picking it up. I'm just using the laptop at this point. But
yeah, you sound great. And boy, you really just fucked up my question because I thought we'd get to talk about a podcast. But yeah. So let's talk about comedy. So you started in Virginia. What part of Virginia were you in?
I was in it's called the Hampton Roads area, which is like Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg is part of that.
Okay. Yeah. My daughter and her husband live in Falls Church, so they're right across the bridge from DC. So yeah,
it's a different North Virginia and South Virginia are totally different places, but they're awesome.
Richmond's pretty cool. I saw a show there one time. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Richmond's great.
Yeah. So you've been doing comedy for about 9 years and you're in New York now. I've got people I can introduce you to, just FYI. And a lot of them are on this Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling channel because most of them are New York comics. So you may know some of them. Have you ever run into John Poveromo?
I don't think so.
Okay. He's my best buddy. He brought me on the channel. But
oh, nice.
So let's talk about your comedy journey. What are your goals after you get fully vaccinated and you can go up and do comedy again?
I am fully vaccinated, and I'm
me too.
Nice. Yeah. I'm doing an open. I just started an open mic. And I'm gonna probably start some shows as well in town and try to do some of that. I got some other plans too on the like virtual content that I want to make, but yeah.
If I was to pull up your Spotify or whatever music app that you use, what would be the on repeat? What would be the ones you listen to the most?
So right now I'm there's 2 songs that I've been repeating almost to the point where I'm kind of ruining them for me. But there's a song, Kaleo Skinny, which I unironically like. And then there's this other like pop song, a Tony Braxton song that I've been listening to that I ironically
love
like.
Tony Braxton.
Yeah, it's great. You can play
Which
it.
song?
Yeah,
It's called As Long as I Live. It's a newer one. It's not an old one of hers. It's a newer one. Yeah.
When she first came out, I liked her. I liked her. I was with my shorty, but I liked her.
Of course. Lots to like.
Yeah. she's got that look, and she's got that attitude that looks like, you know, she would take charge in the event that something sexual would happen between us. And I like that.
That's what we all want as weak men now. We just want a woman who will ask, please.
Yeah.
If I do it, I'm getting canceled. Just please ask me for sex.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
That's what turns us on.
Lee, I'm going to invite Leaf to be my guest every time, because just his laugh makes me happy. I'm extremely happy. So Rob, I'm going to stay with you for a second because you intrigue me. There's something about you. I think there may be a star factor with you. Who's your favorite comic working today right now?
I mean, I still, Bill Burr was the influence early on, and I still love Bill Burr stuff. Pete Holmes, again, another like super early influence for me. That and Louis Chappelle, those guys. Currently, the last like great special I heard, you guys should check out. Actually, I think he's a Chicago guy too. Jeffrey Asmus. He's fucking hilarious, and he came out with a special, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and he deserved that special. He worked hard for it.
Yeah. That was
okay. Yeah, I'm kind of done talking to you. Leaf, Leaf, what's your story? I'm worried about you.
I am the laugh. I am the laugh.
Yeah.
I show up to comedy shows and I make everything better. I am the 10-man-in-1 audience member, and that is why Dave and Rob and everybody in the Connecticut, New York, and Massachusetts, Rhode Island comedy scene, and now nationally that I've been in Portland, that's why everybody knows me and loves me, because I am the 10-man audience in one person.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever do a comedy album, I'm hiring you to come be my guy in the front row. But if I did it over 2 nights, you'd have to be there both nights, because that laugh would have to be on every track, and if it was gone, people would know.
Can do.
Yeah. So what's your story? What do you do to put milk in the fridge? What's your job?
I work for a managed service provider right now, and I'm actually in the process of switching positions. I'm going from IT support right now into the business services side as a client success manager.
Excellent.
So pretty soon.
You know what I do?
What do you do?
Pretty much what you're gonna do.
Oh.
Yeah. I work for an MSP. Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm not in the tech side. I'm in the sales side. But yeah.
In this case, it's going to be a lot of the. So the immediate tech issues get solved by the service desk. The long-term visionary planning goes to the VCIOs.
Yeah.
And everything in that like 1 week to 1 month ratio of things that have to be done goes on my plate.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, that's, IT is so fun and such a hellish, terrible landscape at the same time, because everybody clicks those phishing emails, don't they?
Oh, God. We train our users very well, but yeah, that's a bad day for everybody.
It's amazing. I get a call from one of my clients. Hey, my secretary just bought a bunch of gift cards, and we don't know why. And I'm like, well, because she opened an email from you, and you asked her to, but it's not really you, because somebody's been camping out in your email for the last 3 months. So it's.
Oh God.
Yeah, do you think that IT could be do you think I could do IT bits? Because I've never even thought about doing IT bits. Do you think that it's funny enough? Because I laugh a lot at my clients because they do some really weird shit.
I think it's one of those things where you have to have some basic knowledge of IT, and it's very much a clicky thing. Like, if you work in IT, there is a level of humor that you know and understand the end user, the ID10T error, the PEBCAC. You understand all this on a level that most people don't. But for anybody tech proficient, it's hilarious. It's great.
Yeah, and maybe I could actually be the IT comedian, and I would just go around to different MSPs and do shows for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Company Christmas parties, thumbs up.
Yeah. That's actually the first thing I ever did was my company's. I've been with my place for 16 years. I did my company's Christmas party. That's the first thing I did. I did 45 minutes my first time up. But nice. I was just it was just all roasting the people I worked with. So it wasn't like anything real. It was like 5 minutes of material, and the rest of it I was just telling people they were dumb and stuff.
The frat douchebag in me must remark about how many wet vaginas must be tuning in right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my wife actually left because she's tired of hearing me down here talking. So yeah. So Leaf, if I was to pull open your favorite audio app and we look at your on repeat, what would be your top songs?
Okay, so right now I start pretty much every morning with about 7 renditions of Origins by Far Out.
Okay.
But I mean, today there was some Queens of the Stone Age, there was some Britney Spears.
Okay.
You asked that to Rob, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, when you work in the biz, when you work in the IT biz, you have to, when you're like working on stuff, you have to tune out and tune into some music so that the outside stuff doesn't get to you. You have to really focus and do your stuff. And being eclectic like that, I appreciate that because I'm the same way. And so far, I know Queens of the Stone Age, Britney Spears, and Toni Braxton of the people you've talked about. So I know 3 of the 5 bands mentioned by 2 people who are significantly younger than me. So I feel good about that.
What are you listening to, Scott?
Okay, I got it up. I got Starseed by Our Lady Peace. I got Where Did You Go by the Harpoonist and the Axe Murderer. I've got Welcome to Cashville by Volk. I've got Blind Love by Dave Alvin. Full Moon Turned My Head Around by Off Broadway. Sinister Kid by the Black Keys. That's probably the only one you know.
I know Our Lady Peace.
Our Lady Peace, yeah. So yeah, I listen to a lot of really indie stuff, and I actually get to know the bands. I've had them on the show and stuff like that. So Volk is one of my favorite bands, and there's a couple of them out of Nashville I like them, and Repeat, and a couple of them out of Indy I like. So yeah, I really like to support the indie artists, so I usually buy their album and then I listen to it on Spotify too, so they can actually make $10 and then 5 cents from me listening to it 2,000 times. Yeah. God, I'm so glad you're here, Leaf. So, Dave, tell me all about you. So you've been doing comedy for a while. Did you say 15 years?
Past that mark, actually.
Actually, so you look younger than you are then, huh? So
that seems to be the consensus from people when they talk to me, that I'm older than I look.
Okay.
Did I say that right? Yeah. Sorry, I gotta make sure I get the comparison words in order.
You're still young, hot, and fuckable, Dave.
All right, between that remark and what you said about the wet audience, not to mention the pictures behind you, the lights, the sofa, and the camera angle. Did you think you were coming to a casting couch interview?
I was hoping you were going to ask me to take my pants off at some point. Well, now I'm not so sure.
That does look kind of like the couch you see on Pornhub for the casting couch stuff. Not that I ever watch it, but that does.
Don't ruin the illusion. Just play the role. I put on the good underwear today.
Is that couch? I mean, is it sticky? I mean, does it?
It's a little sticky, little viscity between
So, Dave, tell me about your best experience in comedy since you've been doing it for a while.
I mean, It's been mostly positive. I'm very grateful to have had all the experiences I've had, even if they were not that great, because they lead to better things. They make you stronger. A couple of years ago, I got to perform at a sold out 400 seat theater when that was still allowed. And the guy who had me on it he would run the show like 3 or 4 times a year. He called it only headliners, like pretty much only like veterans who've been major names in comedy for more than 15 years. And I don't mean like started in comedy, but have been like, could do an hour for 15 years. And to have him include me in that group was a big honor. That's and the fact that I did so well for 20 minutes in front of 400 people was just a major accomplishment for me. And I got a video of that, and I've sent that out now. I'm trying to, as things are reopening, I'm trying to spread the word about me, get my name out there a little more than I had been, because I was never very good at self-promotion, and I'm trying to improve on that.
Yeah, and you're funny as hell. Send me that video, and I'll send it to people I know. I'm starting to know people. So
that'd be great. Thank you.
I'll pass it on. And so Connecticut, where you're at in Connecticut, how far is that from like New York City?
About an hour and a half. I drive down there every so often by car. I used to take the train just because it's a little more convenient, but it kind of takes longer. And now that I no longer fear driving in Manhattan, it's like 90 minutes. It's not bad at all.
Have you ever murdered anyone?
Today or in general?
Just in general.
No.
Okay.
But you're far from the first person to think that.
Dave killed my sex drive.
That's not a person.
Murder kills your sex drive? Well, you're not my kind of guy, Rob.
that was the much less popular follow-up to Video Killed the Radio Star.
Man.
This is a good show. I need a sounder. I need something. I need something. Where's my sounds? Son of a bitch.
So, Rob, are you into gunshots?
Oh, that's a gunshot.
I don't know what that was.
This is a good show. I like it. So, your style has obviously been developed over years. Were you always talking in the fashion that you do when you do a bit, or did you develop that? Because it's very signature, and it's very it makes people lean in. So I really like it.
Thank you. It came later. It was something I tried one time because I'm always trying to write new stuff, as any good comic is. I started thinking of a lot. I think what I did that night, if I remember correctly, because we only got 3 minutes because there were so many people, was mostly one-liners. And I've really been leaning into that because I agree with you, and I appreciate that you saw that I think it speaks to my character, and I can do more with it and and stand out and be unique. For most of like the first half of my comedy career, I was doing traditional stuff, and I still do that from time to time. If somebody asks me to host a show and do like 7 or 8 minutes up front, you can't really do what you saw me do that night if you're hosting, because hosting's another capacity. So I want to make sure I have that skill as well to welcome everybody. If I'm doing a longer hosting set, like if I'm asked to host but to do 20 minutes, then I can transition into it. But to get where I'm trying to go, I kind of would rather feature or be in the center, not the host, not the headliner, but in the middle, so I can establish that pattern. So no, that I didn't get into that till a little after my 10th year. I just came up. I wanted to wait till I came out like 3 or 4 dozen to do at a mic where they let you do like 10 minutes. And I was I was not expecting to do as well as I did that. And not everything, like some of them killed, some of them went flat. But I started to find like this, I may have finally tuned into my real voice in comedy, and I think it's kind of taken off since then. So that's been my main focus in writing. But of course, I also still think of traditional bits. So if I'm doing like an open mic or something, I can just try a new regular bit for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I would think you could kind of go in and out of that as long as you don't go completely out of character. I mean, I don't want to say you're like Emo Phillips, but you've got a signature delivery that is different, and I think you could still do regular stuff within that delivery mechanism. Things that are a little bit longer, but you wouldn't if you strayed too far from it, I think it might tune people out a little bit. But
I agree. It would take away from, like what you said, the cadence, the rhythm. I wouldn't plan to do traditional material after several minutes of one-liners, but what does sometimes happen is if there's something happens in the room, or there's a distraction, or somebody says something in response to something I say, or we get somebody with a wonderful laugh like we have in the room tonight, or something throws off my pattern, then I might pause and acknowledge it, but I try to stay in the same deadpan, low tone that I've been, to keep it going and stay within the rhythm, and then I can transition back to what I was planning to say. But I agree, it wouldn't make sense to do 5 minutes of random one-liners and then tell like a funny story. I think that would be a really bizarre way to end a sentence as poorly as I just did. You know what I
mean? Folks, there's a lot of people watching and nobody's commenting, so if you want to say something, you can. I'm not going to bite. So so Dave, if I was to steal your phone and look at your Spotify on repeat list, what would I find?
I've always been a fan of like pop and top 40, so I know some indie acts, but not as many as like some of the names you guys were throwing. I've always been a fan of Matchbox 20. Very middle of the road, I know.
Yes.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Oh.
Mariana's Trench.
I don't know that one.
Okay. I tend to find I'm more into songs than artists. Like, obviously there's some artists I'm a big fan of, like a lifelong fan of, like Simon and Garfunkel. But I'll like one or two songs from an artist, and even though I know several of them, I tend to not. I like these two, so I focus more on songs than albums. Big fan of, like, 80s stuff, popular, whatever was popular in the 80s.
Yeah. Did you listen to any Matthew Sweet in the 80s? When
I know of him. One of my friends is a big fan of his, so I kind of know one or two of the songs. But like, if you played it, it might take me a while to identify that it's Matthew.
I just like fucking around with the pictures.
I thought we were playing Othello for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen Matthew Sweet twice, and he's one of my, as far as of that era, he's one of my favorites. It's like him, Jesus and Mary Chain, and Revolting Cocks, and just a lot of really weird, either singer-songwriter, power pop, or really hard industrial weird shit. So that's what I liked from the 80s.
I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there. I mean, just because it wasn't mainstream doesn't mean it wasn't good.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you don't have hair anymore?
I honestly am. I
am too.
It was thinning, and it just got to the point where there was no way I could comb what I had left without it looking like a horrible toupee. So as soon as this, I was just like, there's so many more pros than cons to this. So,
I'm serious. And Leaf, you can just kiss my ass with your hair.
You haven't seen anything. This is cut for me.
Yes.
What the pandemic did to me is I still had some hair, but it was like bald here and it was going here. And I just decided last March that it got too long and it was looking like a comb over, and I just shaved it. I have not paid for a haircut since last year. And it's great. All that money, look at that. And if they give it to me free, I can put all that money towards beer to use as a chaser, because I drink.
Sounds like you thought this through. Yeah, I'm saving a lot too. Just do it in my own bathroom now. Yep.
Yeah. I'm having so much. I love awkward silences, and I want to tell you, I've done this podcast called Behind the Bits for a little over a year. It's been I've got 68 episodes, I think, coming up. My 68th is coming up on Tuesday, And you know what's really funny, Dave, is people think that I am a comedy pro, and I get people emailing me and messaging me asking for comedy advice, and that's one of the funniest things for me, because that's not what I'm good at, because I'm still not very good at comedy. I mean, I'm funny for somebody who's been doing it for, really, if you put it all together, 3 years, because I did like one open mic a week for a couple years. I mean, that's really all I did, and I did some shows and stuff like that were okay. But it's funny, people actually they think I know stuff, and I'm like, I'm not the guy to ask. And then I'm talking to comedians that say, hey, I want you to come to Indianapolis and feature for me. And I'm like, no, you don't know. That would not be good. I mean, maybe it'd be good for 10 minutes. I can do 10, but if you want me to do 20, it's going to get rough. I'm going to have a pee stain on my pants. And,
well, it's definitely good to recognize that you wouldn't be able to feature. But remember, even if you've been doing it 4 or 5 years, if somebody who's only been doing it 4 to 5 months is looking for porn, you have a history now, even if it's not an extensive one. You've learned a good amount. You're always learning, just like at any level in comedy. So there's some stuff you might be able to impart. You may not feel like completely confident if they're asking you about an experience you haven't had yet, but you still, at your level, you've got stuff to share.
Yeah.
And if they're annoying,
simply because of the people I've talked to, and that's been very eye-opening to me, and I've learned a lot from them. I just one of the things I've noticed on Facebook, I don't know if you're on any of the comedy groups on Facebook, like Displaced Comedians, there's a lot of open micers that they think they know a lot about comedy. And it's really fun to watch those exchanges.
See, I agree, and that's not a new thing. That's always been the case with comedy. It's just because of that group and because of the world situation, that's now a lot more public. So back, as far as giving advice, if you're being asked by somebody who's really annoying, I would say just mess with them. Tell them, use the C word as much as you can. Let them run with it.
Oh yeah. Rape jokes are just the thing. That's the only thing you should do.
Yeah, I've seen so many white 20-somethings, almost always male, come in, and they're always like 2 things they want to talk about. They're going to be edgy and say the same things I've been seeing for years. It's like, I'm not saying the content can't be done right, but everybody tries this. So if you're going to, you really have to step up your game and say stuff that's not been heard at all. But if you're just going to go up there because you want to brag that you got it on with somebody last week, why are you here? Nobody wants to. I'm not even. That happens so often. It's like, this is not Braggers Anonymous. This is supposed to, Mike. You're supposed to be working on your.
Yeah, eating ass was a big thing. Right before the pandemic, it was like eating ass, and I'm 100% clean. You wouldn't know it to hear me talk, but I'm 100% clean on stage, and so eating ass, and me talking about my kids, and it's a little break. People like the little break of the non-ass eating material, and it works out pretty well. So I just got to say, okay, we've been together as a group of white males for about 30 minutes now. I just want to ask, do you guys think you like me?
I already did.
Okay.
No complaints.
Rob?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Wow. Rob's like, how quickly can I get out of this? And,
I think Rob's
boy,
playing
am I
Call
going
of
to give
Duty
Dave
right
a text after this one.
I think Rob is playing Call of Duty right now.
Leaf, do you like me?
I think you're all right, dude.
All right. Do you have any clients that still have Server 2003?
God, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
which is probably a good thing.
I still got one, and they just and the server's going to die, and I'm worried. That's why I'm drinking so much right now.
Appreciate that you brought out the vintage stuff for this 2003.
Yeah, and it was like $19 for the bottle, so I'll take it. Yeah. So if they're going to give me free ones, I think I should ask for 2 a month because yeah. I'm not going to show them this part, but yeah, it's really good. It's good, but it's worth about $19 a bottle, and I think I should get 2 for that.
I don't see why not.
Okay, this has been fun, but this is the time in the show where I have to pee because I've been drinking, and everybody thinks that Dean Martin died in 1995 of lung cancer, as a matter of fact, and actually that did not happen. He was cryogenically frozen, and they actually found a cure for only his particular type of lung cancer, and they thawed him out last year, and he is with us. He's among the living now. The problem is he put all his money into being cryogenically frozen, and he had nowhere to go. Now, I'm an empty nester. Me and the Bay, we don't have anybody living here. I ran into Dean on the streets of Mishawaka, Indiana, because apparently that's where the freezing unit is. And he's like, I got nowhere to go. And I'm like, Dean, come stay with me. And he's been staying with me for about a year. Very entertaining guy, and I like to have my guests because Dean Martin, obviously an icon, part of the Rat Pack, great singer, great actor. Just he knew everybody. I like to bring him out while I'm peeing and let you guys ask him whatever you want to ask him, and I like to call it.
Whoa.
It's Ask Dean Anything, baby. Hey, it's me, Dean Martin. Look at you guys. I hope you're having fun. Scott was pretty grumpy earlier, and he curses a lot when he gets grumpy, and I just don't like him. But anywho, it's me, Dean Martin, famous singer and actor, and I know I look a little different. This is what I used to look like, and this is what I look like now, and it's the freezing. The freezing did it, and the fact that I've been staying with Scott for so long, we look like an old married couple now, and it's just what it is. So this is a time in the show where you can ask me anything. I've done a lot. I've had a life, and then I died, and then I came back, and I'm having a different life now, and watching a lot of 90 Day Fiancé. That's a really good show. But anyhow, this is where you can ask me questions about my days in entertainment. So anybody, just fire away.
How many times
Dean,
anybody. I'm sorry?
How many times did Sinatra say the N-word?
All the times. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but Sammy was just so cool with it, and Frank was he just did what Frank did, and the old the N-word did come up quite a bit. Not by me though. Not by me, because I understood PC before it was PC.
That's good. You're a revolutionary.
Yeah. So
in addition to regular comedy, I also enjoy roasting, like roast battles, and you're like the first name I associate in comedy history with roasting, the celebrity roast. How did that get started?
So it was actually an offshoot of the roast done at the Friars Club. So the Dean Martin roast was actually very similar to the Friars Club, except for the Friars Club, they got a lot dirtier. They were very dirty. And I got to say, I really enjoyed doing that show. I don't remember a whole lot about it because I showed up for the show and had a few scotches and laughed at the comedians. My favorites, Foster Brooks was really funny.
Yes.
Ronald Reagan was actually pretty darn funny when he came on, when he was the governor of California, and Don Rickles, obviously, one of my favorites. But yeah, I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember it was funny, and I don't remember getting any blowjobs during the roast. Sometimes before, sometimes after, but not during the roast.
Were other performers getting taken care of during the podcast?
Oh, yeah. Bob Newhart was the king.
Who?
Bob Newhart was the king.
Okay. That would explain some of those funky expressions he used to wear.
Yeah. For some reason, everybody wanted his dick in their mouth. It was just that thing, man.
Well, I am glad I asked that question then.
I bet you got a question for me, Rob. Mr. Velour Blue Couch Buddy with pictures on the wall. You son of a bitch.
Why do you what did Blue do to you? Are you upset about it? What were you a happy dude in life, or were you like a tortured artist?
Oh, so not as happy as you might think, because that son of a bitch Jerry Lewis, when we did that whole Martin and Lewis thing, I was the funny one. If you go back and watch that shit, I was the funny one, and Jerry Lewis, you just going and that's all he did, and everybody thought that was funny, and I actually said things that were funny. So I didn't enjoy that part. When we broke up, that was the best part of my life. And I got to do a little bit more singing. I got to hang out with Frank and Peter Lawford and Sammy Davis Jr., all those guys. You've got a cat. And it was a lot of fun. And so I tortured you. The thing is tortured. And I think we're all tortured a little bit if you really want to get down to it. And the biggest torture I had is that I came from Ohio and I was a boxer, and I never really got to finish boxing. So that was my big thing.
I didn't know he was a boxer.
Is it weird being?
You didn't know I was a boxer.
Yes, I didn't know you were a boxer. Sorry.
This is great. You guys got anything else? Lee, you got anything for me?
I mean, I'm not. I was really big into swing, but I didn't know the artist per se. It was just whatever Pandora happened to throw up at the hour, and I like the music. I just couldn't tell you about it.
I'll have Scott make you a Dean Martin playlist, because I was a really good singer. Hey, Sarah, what will be when love hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's amore. The voice kind of went with the freezing shit. So I'm bringing nothing to the table. That's why I'm living with Scott in his full-size bed in his tiny bedroom.
Is it strange, like at Christmas time now, hearing your 60 and 70-year-old classics being played on the radio? And is it weird hearing them immediately followed by weird covers of them by artists like BTS and Ariana Grande?
Oh. Let me tell you, the problem with today is the fact that nobody really writes songs anymore. Not like I ever wrote one, but they're all computer enhanced songs that work on algorithms and shit like that. And Ariana Grande is just she's an algorithm user. And that's all the pop stars do today, because other people are writing it, and they write it based on what they think other people like, and I don't like that. And not that I ever wrote any songs myself, but I sang songs that I liked. And but if somebody wants to sing one of my songs, and they do it well, two cats. There's actually two cats there.
Cats even.
Yeah. There's a black one and looks like a tiger. And as far as art today, I really, really like Britney Spears' Instagram, because man, she does some weird stuff on there, and I don't know if she's been kidnapped by her dad or not, but I check out all those reels, baby. And that's another thing I want to talk about. I know I'm going off topic here, but I open up Scott's Instagram because I don't have a phone of my own because I can't afford one. And I open up the Instagram, and all I see is scantily clad women dancing weird symmetric dances with their nipples out, and I don't understand why that's a thing now. Do you guys know why that's a thing?
Well, the world changed after Studio 54 was shut down, so that might be
okay. I'm still drinking. All right. Well, this has been fun. You guys don't know as much about Dean Martin and weren't prepared, so I'm Scott's back from peeing, so we're gonna change this up to. That sure isn't the right one, and that's not the right one. It's what's on your mind, folks. Hey, I'm back. Hopefully Dean was okay. A little grumpy today because I made a chickpea and tahini dressing wrap for dinner, and he didn't like it. He's looking for a burger, and we just don't do that in this house. So it was he really wants to go to Burger King, but he's scared of getting recognized, and I really don't think he's going to get recognized. He looks a little bit different. So this is a time on the show where you can do a bit, you can promote your shit, you can rant, you can do anything you want, but we all get to talk about it while you're doing it. So I'm going to go over to Rob first because he's got two cats in the room.
I think three, actually. I think I saw a third one.
They're not my cats, but they are here. I have a YouTube channel I'm working on. That's been a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah?
Have you done any YouTube stuff?
Do I do YouTube stuff?
Yeah. Have you done anything? I
throw this shit up on YouTube, but I don't do anything specific to YouTube.
Nice. Yeah. That's good. That's a smart idea. So I'm working on a channel, trying to figure out how to do well on there and have an interesting channel and make it work. And then that's what I've been working on.
If I can give you some advice,
if you want to.
Do you have enough followers to have? Do you have enough followers or subscribers to have a vanity ID?
A vanity? I don't think so. I don't even know what that is.
Okay. So you have to have 100 subscribers, and then you could do youtube.com/Rob Rigo.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So what my goal is, do you have 100 subscribers yet?
Yes.
Oh, well, then you can do it. You just have to go into the thing and do it. So my goal is no longer to get you over 100 subscribers because you already have that. I also have over 100, but barely. I don't even know where they came from.
Yeah.
So is that really all that's on your mind? I mean, let's pretend like I'm a comedy booker, and I want your best joke. What's your best joke?
Oh man, I just haven't. I'm starting from scratch right now, so there's nothing that I'm prepared to do for any bookers.
You're really not enjoying this show, are you?
No, of course I enjoy it. I'm not a Zoom guy, for stand up. But I like this. This is fun. I'm just saying I don't do stand. Like this is interviews. Interviews are fine.
Yeah, and I don't like Zoom comedy either. I don't do very much of it, and that's why I made the show, because I wanted to do something, but I wanted it to be weird. I didn't want it to be Zoom like, so that's why I did it. And,
this is fun.
And I'm just so glad your shirt matches that couch so much.
Yeah, that's good. I can blend in. I can just blend into it.
Yeah.
Disappear.
Yeah. I'm so glad I got to meet you. And that's the dots on that blanket match the couch too. And it's kind of like
I think it's something with the lighting, the LED lights or something makes everything a little bit blue. I don't know. Because it's black. The dots are black. I don't know.
And you say you're in New York?
Yeah.
Okay. Just shoot me the address. I want to come see that place.
Absolutely. Come on over.
Oh, there's a calico, so there is 3 cats. You're right, Dave. There's at least 3 cats.
I think 3. That sounds right.
I am having so much fun tonight. Is it because I started drinking earlier than normal? I don't know. Is it because I like you guys? I think so. So, Leaf, what's on your mind?
I mean, frankly, I'm not really a big personality online right now. I'm actually getting into Buddhist ideals, blacksmithing, and jewelry smithing. My current goal is to hand forge enough silver rings to double a pimp's worth of rings on my hands, and then be able to tip 25% and a silver ring for good service as some sort of weird monstrosity traveling to port.
I love that.
So I actually know a guy who's into smithing, and he's really into it. He teaches it to people, and I totally respect that. I love getting back to the old arts, and it's funny how many people who are in technology, that is their passion, is to get back into the old arts. So I'm totally with you on that. And the Buddhist thing, I am so far from a religious person, but I'm closest to Buddhist than anything.
I've just started reading this book by the Dalai Lama, and I'm going to butcher how to say his name. Thich Nhat Hanh, I want to say. I'm not sure. Suffice. It's called No Fear, No Death. And I bought 5 books on a friend's suggestion, and I'm just chewing through them one at a time. Wake up every morning, listen to Far Out by Origin by Far Out, and for like 5 cycles, and then read my book. And
gotta make a note of that.
Just learn a little Buddhism, start the day, manifest the destiny you want to see. Took COVID, lost 70 pounds, found some self-worth, started working out. And I life is amazing right now, and I'm not online too much, mostly because Mike can't handle my laugh.
Yeah. I absolutely love it, and the fact that you took the pandemic and made a positive out of it, good for you, and good for you for losing 70 pounds. I was on the way back up because I lost 80 a few years ago, and I was on the way back up, and I've decided I can't do that because I don't want to buy new clothes, and so I'm not eating much, and I switched. I actually usually drink beer. I switched to whiskey because there's less calories, and it makes me drunker quicker. Yeah, and it makes the rosacea show up. Before we get over to Dave, we really need to do a rosacea check. Let's do this. Oh, sorry, Dave. And
what's happening?
Let's do me.
Wait, there we go.
Okay, rosacea check. The nose is at least an 8. And the cheeks are right about a 7 to 8. So I am really red right now. And how do I stop that? Okay, there we go. Yeah.
didn't know it was called that.
Yeah, it's my daughter has it too. I gave her a couple things that I wish I hadn't. But the height was a good one. I mean, she's tall, but the rosacea is just a son of a bitch, and I can't get rid of it. And when I drink, it gets worse. But you know what? I'd rather drink and look like this than not drink and look normal. So,
I'm sure I get a little red too when I drink.
Yeah. But mine is just awful. Mickey Souls, I don't know who that is, but thanks for stopping in, bud. Dave Sheehan, obviously you're the guy I met through all these weird comedy contest things and was super impressed with. What's on your mind?
Mostly chinchilla breeding at the moment. I guess I can plug stuff. I never have a good answer to that, and I try to force it, and you see what happens. Just trying to get through the world as it is right now, and hope to get back to relatively normal soon enough.
So where would we find you if we wanted to look for you on the internet and see your comedy stylings?
I don't have too much of my traditional stuff on. I mean, I have some stuff on YouTube, but it's mostly. Like if you have the link, you can watch it. For a while, I was kind of just trying to not put too much of my stuff out there. With the world now, I don't think I'd mind, so I might make a few of them public, just so people can see. And just I have a channel with I don't have 100 subscribers yet, again because it's mostly not stuff that people could find from searching. But I don't have a YouTube channel really. I just said that. Hold on. There is a series that I'm featured in. But you wouldn't get it by looking up my name. So I'm going to confuse a lot of people by describing how to find it and lose half the people a third of the way through this.
Okay.
The name of the series is Deep Waters. But if you just look that up, mine's not going to come up. My friend Brianna, who is very funny and a producer, is the editor and creator. Her YouTube handle is Not a Damn Cheese. Because I never asked her this. I'm just assuming that that's a reference to her name, Brianna. She probably gets called Bree and doesn't like it. So if you look her up, she produces a lot of very funny stuff. And then there's several episodes of Deep Waters. I am the star, but my actual name isn't used. It's very confusing, but
I understand.
Everybody to watch that.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram.
Kind of like pornography, right?
How is it like that?
Well, people don't usually use their same real name.
Oh, yes. But that was her choice. Like something that she and her friend who produced stuff together just have this thing where they always use fake funny names. So I was like, yeah, I'll go for that.
I like fake funny names. I got to say, it's been really enjoyable talking to you guys. And there are a couple things on my mind. And since it's my show, gosh, I'm going to go ahead and say them. So my wife and I, we don't fly very much anymore because we're elderly, and we just got fully vaccinated a couple weeks ago, or was it last week? A couple weeks ago. And so we're not flying. And so when we go visit our kids, one of them's like 10 hours away and the other one's like 9 hours away. So we drive. So we're listening to a lot of audiobooks. And I love audiobooks, and I love listening to audiobooks with my wife because we can both talk about them at the same time. We can pause and say, what the hell was that? And stuff like that. But we started listening to like biographies and autobiographies. And we just listened to Matthew McConaughey's autobiography called Green Lights. And it's about, I think it's 6 hours and 47 minutes. The nice thing about Audible is you can look at how long a book is. And I was just perusing. I was just looking through autobiographies, and I found Jessica Simpson's autobiography. And it's 11 hours and 49 minutes. And obviously, Dave, I think you guys are getting it. I really think Jessica Simpson may be very nice. I'm sure she's a sweet person. However, I think Matthew McConaughey has had way more of a life than her. And so I don't know. I'm not going to spend my credit to buy her book, but I'm just postulating that maybe she's either talking really slow or there's a lot of makeup tips in there.
Or a lot of tangents.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know for both of these, is it the celebrity themselves narrating their own, or is it somebody else reading?
In that case, it is. That's I'm working out this joke, and I did Rod Stewart first, and Rod Stewart isn't narrating his. His is exactly 1 minute shorter than Jessica Simpson's. Rod Stewart, I don't think is his current. So you're a comedian, and Rob's a comedian. I think the Matthew McConaughey is probably a better analogy, even though his is so much shorter. I mean, Rod Stewart was great because it's exactly a minute, but I think Matthew McConaughey works better.
Yeah, you hear that name more these days. He's still acting. He's in commercials. I think he's
He's like, and he's had some good like speeches that people think he's a smart, like introspective person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how you sell Lincolns.
Yep. I tell you what, if you ever get a chance, if you want to experience his autobiography, please get the audio version because it is great. I mean, whether you agree with how he lives or what he's all about, it sucked me in, man. For 6.5 hours of that drive, I was totally in tune with Matthew McConaughey, and it was fantastic. The only other thing that's on my mind, since I don't have a time limit and you guys aren't asking to leave, it's been kind of a rough week for me. I went into a gas station to get a lottery ticket because I know comedy's not going to pay the bills. And the cashier said, "Hey, you look a little like a older Harrison Ford." And it's really funny how many things can go through your mind in the seconds between going to the door from the cashier, because I was like, Harrison Ford's pretty good looking. That's nice. I think he's older than me. He's 77 and I'm 56. And so then I signed up for Botox. Then I get home the very same day I get home, and there's a package on the porch. It's addressed to my wife, and it's from the Peekaboo Cafe, and it's a small package. And I'm like, Peekaboo Boutique. I'm fucking up my own joke. It's from the Peekaboo Boutique, and it's a very small package. And I'm thinking, ooh, this is going to be something that's going to be fun later on. And we are going to have a good night. And so I met her at the door when she came home from work, and I said, look at this. I'd like to see what's in there. And she said, I bet you would. And she opened it up, and it's a little tiny t-shirt for my grandson with dinosaurs on it.
Nice.
So I'm just looking at my whiteboard and I'm doing comedy bits for you. I was I mean, you guys are still here. I was obviously I'm 6'5" and I grew up in Indiana, and I didn't play basketball, and that's a big no-no in Indiana because Indiana is a basketball state. And so my coaches were really mad. The coaches were really after me. I had one coach come at me and say, hey, it's against the law to be over 6'2" and not play basketball in Indiana. He had a subpoena in his hand. And then another coach came up to me and said, you know what? I'd give my right arm to be as tall as you when I played basketball. And I said, well, you know what, buddy? I'd give my right arm to wear a t-shirt and not have my belly button show.
Feel that. I long torso, 6'3", Appreciate that immensely.
Yeah. Yes. I'm bouncing new shit off of you. Rob, what do you think? Can I come to New York and just
absolutely come on
comic strip and just slay? Bill Burr will be there working out new material, and he'll say, "I want you on my podcast."
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm really getting out of it now. I've been drinking. So I want to thank you guys, Dave, Rob, Scott. Oh, that's me, Leaf. I want to thank you guys for being on the show. You guys are invited to come back anytime you want. My name is Scott Curtis. This is a BTB Internet Talk Show, which is an offshoot of the Behind the Bits podcast, which is nothing like this. It's a serious talk about stand-up comedy. My next guest on Tuesday is Dustin Chafin. I had a really good talk with him. He's a very good comic, and I actually called him Justin twice. So if you look at my Instagram, I put up a reel where I cut out both the times I called him Justin and swore a lot because I did that. So yeah, that's up there on the Behind the Bits Instagram, Behind the Bits podcast, I think it is. And yeah, so that was a good interview. It's coming out Tuesday, and I'm stoked. But you guys, thanks for being on the show. You guys kind of came into this blind, not knowing what you're getting into, and I'm sure you guys are going to have great conversations about that weird son of a bitch from Indiana, and I'm glad. I'm glad.
Thank you, Scott. I really enjoyed this.
Yes, thank you all for watching. Not a very chatty group tonight. Usually I have a chattier group. Maybe I've just got friends that have it streaming and they're lurking and they're not even watching. But thanks for watching if you are, because a lot of you are on my Twitch channel, and I appreciate that because I have made almost 50 cents on that so far. So I'm very appreciative. Dave, Rob, Leaf,